Hi, in this video we're going to demonstrate how to test the approval workflow in Dynamics 365 FSCM. Testing workflow is quite an important part and can be very time consuming. So in this demonstration we're going to go through creating a purchase order, submitting it to workflow, and then we'll check where the workflow's gone, what users. We'll log in as that user and approve the workflow. And then we'll do some validation at the end. So let's get started. Let's go to our AP project and we'll create a new script. And we'll call it testing workflow purchase order. We use the default environment and virtual user. Okay, so that's created our script. So now we can simply record the process of creating the purchase order. So we'll click record, and it's going to record in the advanced recorder here on the left, and it should open the environment. Okay, so now we're ready to record the script. Click the record button. So let's go to accounts payable, all purchase orders. And let's click new. So we're going to use a vendor account of one of the tests that we recorded earlier. Let's use vendor account 7. Okay, that's, and I think all of the defaults are correct. So the first thing we need to do is save the purchase order number so we can reuse it later to find the transactions. So we'll use the picker here, select the purchase order number, get value PO, and the variable name we'll call PO number. Create, and we can turn our picker off. So now we've saved the purchase order number as a variable. Go ahead and create our purchase order. Okay, let's add a product. We'll add the Surface Pro laptop. Let's just check everything is correct. We've got a price. It looks okay. We're going to add some line details. When we come back to the script or when it runs again, we're not sure whether or not the line details tab is going to be open. So I'm going to close it and then open it again. And then I'm going to delete this step of hiding it. So it doesn't matter where it's left off, we'll always open the lines. If it's already open, that's fine. Let's go to setup, and we'll have an item, sales tax group. And that should be everything we need for our purchase order. So let's save. And now we'll submit purchase order to workflow. We'll add a comment. Please approve and submit. So the workflow, it's actually running every 1 minute. So what we'll do is we'll go in shortly and look out whose the workflow has been assigned to. Okay, let's now go and check our workflow. Look at workflow history. Now we can see the workflow's run and it's assigned the work items to 2 approvers, and the workflow only requires one to approve. So we've got Inga here and Colleen there. So our next step would be to log in as one of the approvers and approve the purchase order. Okay, let's pause the recording here. We actually don't need these steps of just going to look at the workflow. We only need up to submit. So we can remove those. And we'll close the window here. We'll take a note of our purchase order number. Okay, so what we can do is we could just close the script, start it up again and carry on recording with another user. What we'll do is in the advanced recorder, it makes things a lot quicker. So I'm going to just go back to our home page. We want to add a step in here to log in as the approving user. So to do that, we are going to add a login step. And so we'll say it's a login as approver. We'll create it after step 16. We'll use the standard environment, and now we want to use our user, so we'll log in as Colleen, as she's going to be the approver. So that's our step. So as the script runs, it will submit, then it will go and log in as this approver. So we're still in a recorder and we're still logged in as the initial purchase order requester. So I'm going to select this login as approver, and I'm going to go over to the player. And what we can do is we should just be able to play this one step and it will log us in as the approver. So this now should log us into Dynamics with Colleen's user. Yeah. So now we can clear that, go back to our recorder, and now we can carry on adding more steps to our script, and that would be to obviously look for the purchase order to approve and approve the purchase order. So you can see the bar here, we need to set that a little bit lower. So if I go to actions and set recording position, it will now start recording after the login as approver step. Okay, so now we could start recording. So now we're logged in as the correct approver. I'm going to navigate to common work items assigned to me. You can see Colleen's got a few to approve. So we need to search for the purchase order that we've just created. We can search in the subject. We'll select contains and put our purchase order number in. Click apply, and then we can go in and view the purchase order. If the approver is happy, we can select workflow at the top and approve, and add a comment if applicable, and so approve. So now we've approved the purchase order. I'm going to pause the script again, and just go home here. We can add another login step. Just log back in as the purchase order requester, and then the purchase order requester can check and validate that the purchase order has been approved. So let's add another step. we'll add a login. So login as requester. And it will be after the last step. And we'll log back in as the admin user, who was the requester. So again, very simple, we don't have to come out of the application at all. I can go over to the player, select the step, and play, and then that should log us back in as the requester. Yeah. Then go back to our recorder to continue with our steps, and we'll set the recording position after the login. It's fine. So now we can start recording our script, our test again. We want to go to all purchase orders. And we'll search for the purchase order that we, and now we can go into the purchase order, and now we'll validate that it is at approved state. So we can do that again using our picker and using variables. So if I click on approved, give it approved variable, and what we can do is we can do the validation directly here. So it will look and inspect the value is approved, check it is approved. If not, it will warn us saying incorrect value. And let's remove our picker. And now we can close and close. And that should be everything we need now in our script. So let's pause the script and go back to our Executive Automats script. So now we can review the script, see if we need to make any changes. So we continue to go to all purchase orders. We used that vendor account. Then we got the PO value and saved it as a variable. And this all looks okay. We submitted it to workflow, and now we log in as this approver. Now the workflow actually runs every 1 minute. So if we logged in straight away as that approver, the workflow may not have run. So we need to put some sort of delay in here. And we can do that simply after submit. We will delay logging in as the approver. So if I click edit, we can add a delay in seconds here. So the workflow runs every 60 seconds, every minute. To be on the safe side, we'll put 70 seconds in. So now this step won't run, it won't run for 70 seconds. That will give the workflow time to complete. And they'll log in, they're going to look for their purchase order. So the purchase order is not going to be this one, so we need to use the saved variable that we saved earlier in the script. To do that, we go in here, to edit, we can select picker, script, and then we'll look at PO number, although I've got PO number for some reason. So now it will look for the actual PO number. Click apply, and then it submits. Then we log in back in as a requester. And again, even the approval may take a little time. So we could put a delay in here as logging in as a requester. Again, maybe we'll use 60 for this one. The approvals tend to be quite quick. And then we go in and we filter for our purchase order. So we will need to filter for the purchase order variable, using the variable. Fine, and then we got the value and done the inspection and done the validation that it was actually approved. So that should be all the changes we need to make in our script. So let's run it back and see if it works. So we'll go play. We'll play in the foreground in the current window on the left side. Okay, so the script should start playing. We'll speed up the video a little. Okay, now it's logging in as the approver, and it will search for the purchase order number. And now that's approved. It's now going to log back in as the requester to check the purchase order and validate that it's been approved. Again, I'll stop for a short period. Okay, now we are logging back in as a requester. We can filter on the purchase order number that we saved as a variable. And then we do our validation. And that's the script complete. Okay, so let's go and close this. And we'll go back and look at the history. You can see here it's finished. Everything was successful. Again, we logged in as 2 different people. Used our variable of the purchase order number, and we did some validation to make sure it was actually approved, and that passed the validation. So I hope you got some benefit out of that. Again, workflow is an important part of testing. As you know, workflows can be quite complex and take a long time to test. A manual tester would have to log in and out of users to check. So automation can really speed that process up and save lots of time and resources. Great, thanks for watching.